Jyotirlingas as far as the Mahakaleshwar Temple is concerned, which is why it holds a special place of reverence as far as devotees are concerned. It's not just any temple. We saw the kind of facelift that Kashi Vishwanath got. It's on lines of those and on lines of, making the experience better for devotees as far as these key shrines are concerned that has been on the central government's agenda for a long time now.
Yes, that's right. And you rightly mentioned that it is one out of the 12 Jyotirlings. But even out of those 12 Jyotirlings, it has its own space, because it is the only Jyotirling which is south facing. And we all know that in Hindu mythology, the south direction or the southerly direction is not considered to be very, pious, or it's not considered to be very shubh. But here Mahakal is the only Jyotirling which is south facing, and therefore it is said to be the custodian of both time and death. So in Hindi, Kal means time and also it means death, and Mahakal, a devotee or God who has control over both the time and death. And therefore people believe that coming to here Mahakal and doing a darshan at Mahakal gives you long life, gives you immortality, gives you strength enough to come over the worldly desire. And therefore Mahakal has the very revered place in Hindu mythology. You go in Purans and you found ancient reference to it. And therefore this city, which is now known as Ujjain, in the past was known as Avantika, which has been the capital of great rulers like Raja Vikramaditya and Raja Bhoj in the ancient Indian history. That clearly is now getting a new look. And what people here are saying, I spoke to the head priest here who performs puja at the Sanctum Sanctorium yesterday, and he said the sort of glory that was brought to Avantika way back during the period of Raja Vikramaditya and Raja Bhoj, that glory is now being added on by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, by the sort of facelift, the upgradation which he is ensuring comes to Lord Mahakal's temple. And therefore people are really happy. And in terms of the larger focus on religious places, yes, there is a big focus. We already talked about how Kedarnath shrine has got a revamp, how Kashi Vishwanath corridor has got an entirely new look, Mahakal temple, and don't forget the another big project, the Ram temple in Ayodhya, is a project in making, and most likely in Makar Sankranti, that is January of 2024, we'll see that Prime Minister inaugurates the Grand Ram Temple. So Ayodhya again will become a major center on the religious tourist circuit. But for the moment, focus is on Ujjain, which clearly is going to become a much more sought out after place after this corridor is inaugurated. And people coming here, I'm very sure, are going to get an entirely new sort of experience, along with the religious devotion, the religious satisfaction they will get by worshipping to Lord Mahakala.
Absolutely. Do stay on with me, and I'll keep coming back to you even as we get the latest coming in from Ujjain for our viewers. But let's also listen in to the anticipation that is building up there in the temple town. Sierra News 18 spoke to several of the administrators and the priests of this temple. Listen in to what they had to say.
क्या नया हुआ है महाकाल ट्रस्ट में, कुछ बता सकते हैं हमारे दर्शकों को, क्या विकास हुआ है?
आप लोग सभी जानते हैं कि त्रेता युग और द्वापर युग से हमारे महाकाल मंदिर का महात्म्य है। भगवान श्री राम यहाँ पे अपने श्राद्ध कर्म के लिए आए थे, कृष्ण भगवान आए थे जिन्होंने कि यहाँ पूजन अर्चन किया हुआ है, इसका विवरण मिलता है। और वर्तमान संदर्भ में हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि श्री महाकालेश्वर मंदिर पृथ्वी के नाभि स्थल में है, 12 ज्योतिर्लिंग में प्रमुख ज्योतिर्लिंग माना जाता है। श्री महाकालेश्वर मंदिर का एक बहुत बड़ा नई संरचना बनी है, जिसमें कि यहाँ का जो प्रशासन है, मुख्यमंत्री जी हैं और यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री हैं, और प्रशासन ने मिलकर एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट बनाया लगभग 800 करोड़ का, जिसका प्रथम चरण पूर्ण हुआ है। जो हमारे श्रद्धालुगण यहाँ आएंगे वो ये देखेंगे कि भगवान शिव के बारे में जाने। देखिए, यदि हमारे पास हजारों वर्ष की विरासत है तो हमारी ये बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है कि इसको हम हमारी नई पीढ़ी को पास करें।
काशी कॉरिडोर का उद्घाटन प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पिछले साल दिसंबर में किया है कि उसको नई भव्यता दी। उज्जैन अपने आप में बहुत महात्म है, भव्य है। मोदी जी के उद्घाटन के बाद इसकी भव्यता और बढ़ेगी, यहाँ पे श्रद्धालु और आएंगे।
अनादिकाल से हमारे यहाँ पे एक ग्रंथ है जो कालिदास ने लिखा हुआ था। उस कालिदास ग्रंथ के अंदर मेघदूतम में ये 24 योजन का मंदिर है। हजारों भक्त यहाँ पे नृत्य करते थे। वैसी भव्यता इस मंदिर में आज से लाखों साल पहले थी। ये मंदिर हजारों साल से बहुत ही बड़ा विशाल मंदिर था, और स्वर्ण शिकायत थी और सब प्रकार की यहाँ पे सुविधाएं थी, और ये राजा के रूप में इनको माना जाता है। महाकालेश्वर मंदिर में सबसे प्रथम मंगला आरती होती है, वो सिर्फ पुजारी लोग करते हैं।
Mahakal corridor, the inauguration of which will be done by the Prime Minister later in the evening today. And what a grand view this is. All along you can see it's a magnificent wall which marks the outer wall of this grand corridor. The corridor extending around a kilometer, 900 meters to be very precise, having engravings from various lives or various aspects of Lord Shiva's life. This entire premises clearly seems to be an area which can clearly define the kingdom of Lord Mahakal, and beautiful pillars have been carved out. And each of these pillars has magnificent lightings on it, magnificent engravings on it. Mahakal and Ujjain is often known as the second Kashi. So after Kashi Vishwanath, the Mahakal Jyotirling has its own importance. It is the only Jyotirling out of the 12 Jyotirling that is a self-incarnated Shivlings that is south facing. And this is the Lotus Sarovar, the new add-on to the Mahakal temple corridor premises. You see beautiful lotuses, they have been built here, and in center is of course the big bust or the statue of Lord Shiva himself. On the four sides you have the lions, and this is an area which will clearly be a big surprise for the visitors who come here. This entire temple is situated on the banks of the river Shipra, and as we cross this particular green zone which has been developed, we move towards the Rudrasagar, and there again you have many statues, around 90 such statues of different saints and seers with the 3D sound system ability installed in him, so that the new generation, the people who want to understand the various aspects of Hindu mythology, can just be there, plug in and listen to the music. It has a 9-meter long pathway which is of course towards my right, and this is the Rudrasagar area where you see these magnificent statues which have been installed of Lord Shiva and other deities, saints and seers who have been the part of mythology. So clearly these are the first exclusive pictures of what this renovated Mahakal corridor looks like.
Now, Prancho, we are going to see a star-studded affair really when the Prime Minister lands there ahead of the inauguration. Before the corridor is actually thrown open to devotees there, we are going to see a celebration really. Kailash Kher is going to be there. We're going to see a special anthem that is dedicated to Lord Shiva, and that anthem also holds great significance because we're given to understand that 108 artists were involved in the making of that anthem.
Yes, that's right. Lot of preparation has been done, and the state government here, the Shivraj Singh Chauhan as Chief Minister, he has been monitoring the all operations, and he wants to ensure that this event, the event that will take place, that befits the sort of grandeur which the corridor itself has, and the fact that Prime Minister himself is coming here to inaugurate it. So yes, there is a lot many events planned out. Kailash Kher would be doing a performance. There's around 200 saints and seers. Some of them we got an opportunity to speak this morning. They have been called in from various across the mandirs and the important akhadas of Hindu tradition. They are here. They will be the part of this ceremony, and then for the larger people at large, they will be able to get this live output of Prime Minister's engagement here at the corridor, and also his visit to the Mahakal Temple. There is half an hour which has been kept as a reserve for Prime Minister, but we do believe that will be the period probably when Prime Minister would be going to offer his prayers at the Jyotirling, will be the part of the Sandhya Aarti, which is a grand affair at the Mahakal, and all that live streaming would be visible to the people through multiple screens that are being installed at the Kartik Mela ground, where Prime Minister will head from after inaugurating this place, and will be speaking there, sharing his thoughts, his emotions after having inaugurated this grand corridor. And we all know that Prime Minister himself is a great Shiva devotee. I mean, I standing here at Mahakal, I remember the moments when Prime Minister had actually gone into a sadhana at the Kedarnath temple at the caves which have been built there, and he is and that clearly is a proof that he is a big devotee. He comes comes in from Kashi in a sense that he is a member of parliament there. He often said that it was the Ma Ganga that has called him to Kashi. The sort of reverence and the respect and the belief which he has often showed towards the Kashi Vishwanath, the sort of the renovated corridor, the way he has inaugurated it, that has proven beyond doubt that how for Prime Minister himself, Shiv and Vishnu, that is the two major creators of the Hindu gods, they have a special reverence in Prime Minister's heart, and therefore coming to Mahakal in itself becomes a big event. As I said, the Mahakal has a different temperament as compared to other swarups of Lord Shiva. This is the swarup of a destructor, a destroyer. Lord Shiva in that avatar, who has a control over time and over also the death. And people say in mythology that only brave hearts come to have a worship at Mahakal. It is also said that you don't come to Mahakal, but it is Mahakal who actually calls you, and then he builds in that sort of scenario that you automatically come to Mahakal. So today I am very sure that it's the moment when Mahakal has himself called on the Prime Minister to be at his darbar, and Prime Minister, he might be the Prime Minister, but he will be in the darbar of Lord Shiva. And as the mythology goes on to say that no king ever stays back in Ujjain, and I think Prime Minister again will be following that tradition, and post that rally today, he will be leaving from the darbar of Lord Shiva and going back after addressing the crowd, and before that inaugurating this grand corridor.
Absolutely. So it is going to be a star-studded show. It is going to be a show that is going to enthrall devotees not just here in India, but it is going to be broadcast in several other countries as well. And that really is the story of the new India. It's a confluence of faith and of development. And that's what we are going to see on show here, 5 p.m. onwards. And CNN News 18 is going to be your destination for that. But we're also getting you a sneak peek of what